I just finished my 7th straight profitable month using my betting strategy and OddsJam's tools combined together. And now I'm about to go in a completely different direction and use a brand new betting strategy. Why would I ever do that, you might ask? Well, we got to find out. So come on, let's take a look. Guys, what's going on? Happy Friday. My name is Billy C, and I love to talk about betting on sports. And I love to make content helping you become a sharper, smarter sports bettor using tools over at oddsjam.com. All right. So in today's video, it's going to be a little bit more to the intermediate to advanced, right? If you want to just know the betting strategy that's made me money over the last 7 months, I'm going to go over it here in the beginning. But I'm also going to link in the description the video I made in the past, breaking it down bet by bet, step by step, so that you know what you need to do if you want to start making money, because it's worked for me. Also, if you are a beginner or new, I'm going to link in the description 1 week free trial to sign up at OddsJam so that you can kind of peruse and use their tools and check things out. And I would be remiss if I didn't say, if you are interested in signing up with their tools, use my promo code Billy20. All right, it'll save you 20% off your monthly subscription for the rest of your life that you use OddsJam. Okay, don't pay full price. But the tool that I'm going to go into, it costs $200 a month, so you'd save $40 a month. The tool that we're about to hop into. So let's take a look right now at my current betting strategy that I have been using very successfully, I might add, for the last 7 months. So what I'm going to do is link in the description my OddsJam profile page so that you can see, if you want to tab through all my months and be like, well, Billy, I don't believe you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you made money betting on sports? No way. So I'll leave it here. But obviously, as you can see, in May, we made just under $900. I had a rough 3 days. Also, as you can see down here below, I've wagered over $1 million on OddsJam since September of 2021, and I've profited currently, as we speak today, over 31,000. So I have spent quite a bit of time on these tools, and I'm pretty intimate with the data and how OddsJam works. So if you're like, well, who the hell am I for me to tell you about a betting strategy? Like, what do I know? Well, here's some of my numbers just so to kind of give you an idea. Again, this will all be in the description. So now let me break down my current betting strategy that I had been using. So for any of you that have, seen my videos before, you know that I would tell you that I completely ignore everything on this screen other than the no vig fair odds. The no vig fair odds is all that I'm really concerned about. And then typically the odds that I would normally attack are minus 200 to plus 130. And again, when I say that, I mean they would have to fall in the no vig odds. So I don't care what odds we get. I would only care about what odds we're getting. So typically, if this was a normal video for me, I would be ignoring a lot of these plays. Now I've changed my parameters and filters, and we'll dive into that later. But I would ignore it. I mean, one play that I would do is be right here, like Rockies Royals, right? And we're getting it at plus 114, right? Because all odds are tied with a win probability. So that means plus 114 gives us almost a 47% chance that this bet hits. That's the fair odds that we have, right? And if you want to know how we got to this fair odds number, OddsJam went back through thousands of different bets and then went and saw the sharpest sports books and kind of came up with a their own formula basically to make this fair odds. Because in life, there isn't anything as truly exact fair odds, but this is the closest thing. And as a guy that's gambled over $1 million on this platform, I can tell you that the no vig fair odds are very accurate, very sharp. Now, my betting strategy really sacrifices expected value. So what do I mean when I say that? I mean, this percentage here, typically the way this tool is set up, you want to bet the most on the biggest percentage. And so when we're looking at biggest percentage, like this Cardinals Pirates over under here, as you can see, the no vig fair odds is plus 165, but the actual odds that we're getting are plus 185. And if we would go to expected value calculator, that would spit out this 7.26%. So because that's the highest, right, the biggest gap, you want to put the most money on it. But I would ignore this, because it didn't fall in my range, because plus 165 is a 37.5% chance. And I usually don't like to bet that because I don't want to deal with the volatility, even though I dealt with quite a bit of volatility in my old betting strategy. So when we're going back to this, Rockies Royals, a bet that I would make, right? As you see below here on the ticker, I have a unit size, right? So one unit size for me last month was $275. Okay. So if any plays that fell within the no vig fair odds that were between minus 110 to minus 200 right here, then I would put $275 on that play. Obviously, as you see, if it was minus 109 to plus 100, I'd put 90%. Why I would do that? Because as we start to get to the, as we get away from minus 110 to maybe minus 105, plus 105, as I just showed you on the calculator, our win probability goes down. So we have a lesser of a chance of winning. So really, though, in the course of a long run, I am sacrificing expected value. I could be sacrificing a lot of profits. I was doing that to help mitigate or control my variance, right? I wanted to try to deal with it as best as I could. And so this is why, as you see, like my last play, plus 121 to plus 130, I would put half of a unit down. So whatever half of 275 was, that's what I would put down. So I've been doing this. It was profitable for me for 7 months, and I highly recommend it. If you just came across my channel for the first time, this isn't exactly a beginner course discussion, but please just follow my betting strategy below. I think it could be very helpful for you because it's definitely helped me and it's helped make me money. So that's kind of where I was at. But naturally, I'm kind of curious now. I'm kind of curious as to my new betting strategy that I'm going to implement for the whole month of June. I'm going to give it a 1-month trial. So I'm not going to freak out over 1 or 2 days or 3 days of losses or just a week, right? I'm going to give it the full month, the full scope. And I want you guys to follow along with me. I wouldn't recommend tailing my plays because I want to do this responsibly. But we're going to go into some of the parameters of my new betting strategy and kind of explain to you why I'm switching, right? So let's go take a look. So if you go up to where my name is and you go and click on profile, and then you go to bankroll settings, this is where we start with the parameters. Now, my bankroll is $25,000, and we're going to be following the Kelly criterion method. That's the method we're going to be following. OddsJam recommends, and I agree. I've spoke to a couple of different people that I trust and respect that use OddsJam a lot. Anywhere between 0.25 to 0.5 is really the optimal number you want to be. If you want to do 0.5, that's a little bit more aggressive. If you want to do 0.25, that's a little more conservative. And since this is my first time for the first month going through this new strategy, I want to take a more conservative approach. So I put in 0.25. Now I'm going to give you a little quick summary here of just what exactly the Kelly criterion method is, because you'll understand then how it ties to the positive EV page. So when we come to the positive EV page, guys, we already know that the tool's job is to find us plays with an edge. It's scraping all the sports books that I have accounts with in Arizona, and it's showing us the greatest opportunities, right? So this Diamondbacks game is a great example. It's showing us all my sports books that I have accounts with. And if we were going to make this play right here, we have the biggest edge using Hard Rock and betting it at plus 220. Now, we know to be profitable sports bettors, this is a volume game. You want to get as many bets down with an edge as you possibly can, right? If we only place 3 bets a day, hell, anybody can lose 3 bets a day. So it's all about getting as many plays down as you can, right? So when we're looking at this recommended bet size, this is based off of the last screen that I showed you, right? It's based off of my bankroll, and it helps me manage what's a responsible amount I should make on this bet based off of the EV percentage, based off of my bankroll size, right? And then based off of the odds that we're getting. So as you can see why, the recommended bet size for this Diamondbacks game is 160, but as we go down the line and you see for the Rangers game, it's $100, and then, 110 here in the Pirate game, and then 70, and then 90. It's based off of a few different factors. It's based off of, the actuality that these events will occur. So what I mean by events will occur, Diamondbacks win 5-0. Well, Billy wins. Oh, Rangers win 4-1. Oh, Billy wins. So it's based off of my bankroll. It's based off of the edge that we're getting. And it's also based off of the odds that this is actually going to happen, right? The probability, that win probability. And it's giving us a number that we should bet on this. Okay. So there are really 2 things that I want to speak about, because I am going to deviate. I'm going to go a little bit off course than just betting exactly what the recommended bet size is. And just talking to some of the people that I spoke with, I want to go this way because I think it's going to be, it's going to help me out a little bit more. I think it's going to help me be a little bit more conservative, but I want to speak a little bit to the tool and now this whole Kelly criterion method. Okay, so as you can see here, I went over to DraftKings just to give you an example. In my experience and spending a lot of time using the positive EV tool, Pinnacle, in my opinion, is the sharpest on money lines, spreads, and over-unders, and particularly the main line plays. All right. So I'm going to break down for you right now some of the issues that I have when I look at the tool and the recommended bet size and why I'm going to deviate and go off course a little bit. So what do I mean by main line plays? So when we're at these baseball games, right, Brewers, Reds, you can see the main line over under is 10 runs. The money line play here. And then obviously in baseball, every run line is -1.5 +1.5. Every baseball game is like this. So, same thing here with this Marlins Athletics game, right? The main over under is 8.5. So this is where, in my opinion, Pinnacle's the sharpest. The issue is that you're never really going to see main line plays as we jump back to the tool. And I added player prop bets in here as well. You're never going to see mainline plays, right? This Diamondbacks game, the Diamondbacks, if you go to any sports book down here, so we just go back to DraftKings, the Diamondbacks are actually +1.5 today. Okay. Well, we're obviously taking them -1.5. So we're flipping that. That's why you see a +220 here, because they're a massive underdog, right? Only 33% chance it hits. So you're not going to see a lot of mainline plays up in this high EV percent range. You're most likely going to see them live in that 1 to 2% range. So if I go all the way down to the bottom here, and we go to like low plays, like they usually live in this 1% range, maybe 1.39, 1.22. And obviously, the EV tool is not going to have you bet as much. The Kelly criterion method is not going to have you bet as much of your bankroll on such a low play with a lower edge. But in my opinion, I think Pinnacle is really sharp. So any plays that I see that are mainline plays, even if they're in the low 1%, I'm going to boost them up. I'm going to add more than what they tell me to bet. Okay, now I haven't quite figured out the exact science. This is a work in progress. But just in my experience, I want to boost those bets up because I know Pinnacle's the sharpest. So keeping with that, right? Keeping with that theme, when we look at this Angels Astros over 9, this isn't the main over under. This is an alternate line, an alternate spread. And speaking to some of the people, like I mentioned before, they made mention that basically, give a big shout out to Matt Modi for this one, that the Kelly calculator overinflates alternate lines and player prop bets, right? They are a smaller market, right? There's not as much action on the over 9 or in the Pirates game here, the under 8, right? Most of your main action is going to be right here. This is where it's going to be, the main line plays. So when you start to deviate and start to go a little further away from the main line, so over 10 or over under 10 runs, over under 8 runs in this Tigers White Sox game, over under 11 runs, those are smaller markets, right? Because the odds are a little bit more extreme. And so the tool does give, puts a lot of value on that because obviously you're getting value. These plays have an edge. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that I'm going to still bet this over 9 runs, but I'm not going to put $90 on it. I'm going to put a little bit less than $90. Okay. Granted, you could say, well, Billy, the calculator Kelly criterion method already takes a 0.25% off of your 25,000. I'm just going to take even a little bit less off that just to be conservative. Now, I might be giving up some gains here. I might be giving up some long-term cash in the end, but I need to kind of see this for myself for the first month. So I want to take a more conservative, safer approach. The other area where you're going to see a very high EV percentage is on player prop bets. Now, because I've been gambling for close to 2 years now out here in Arizona, there are really only 3 or 4 sports books that I can put more than $25 down on a player prop bet. So I still bet player props, but I can't bet as much. So Fliff, Caesars, WinBet, and then FanDuel, DraftKings, I can bet decent amount. What do I mean by decent amounts? Like over $100, right? I just showed you before where my unit size is 275 bucks. So normally I'd be making a play, it's like Kershaw here. I'd probably put $250 down. Well, I can't do that on Desert Diamond. I can't do that on Hard Rock, right? I can't do that on a lot of other sports books. I'm just very limited. The most they'll let me bet is maybe, like I said, $25. So it really skews things. So, so the sports books that do have player prop bets that I know I can bet a fair amount on, I will bet them. But also, player prop bets are a much smaller market, just like those alternate lines, those alternate total runs. It's a smaller market. So because this is a smaller market, I got to tread carefully. I got to tread softly. So again, I'm going to scale down this. So first off, like for Fliff, the maximum you can bet is $250. I can't bet $380. Okay. And even if I could, I wouldn't do it. Right. Player props are more of a flip of the coin. And I don't consider Pinnacle the sharpest when it comes to player prop bets. They're sharp, but I'd rather look at the rest of the market and kind of get an idea of, where everybody has this priced at. So as you can see here, we're getting a great value on Fliff, no doubt. I mean, WinBet and Caesars have this minus 115, minus 111. The next closest you can get is BetMGM at even money, plus 100. So we're getting a great value here in Fliff. I just don't know if I'm going to bet, $380. So if I check my little marker here, you could see I bet $200. I could have bet 250, but I bet 200 just to play safe. So that's kind of some things there. Player prop bets, I'm not going to be betting as much, right? That's kind of like three things. Player prop bets, I'm not going to bet as much as the tool says. Plus, I just can't, like this Ryan Noda bet right here. I can't bet more than $20 on Desert Diamond for a player prop bet. They might let me get $15 down. So that makes it difficult. And then obviously, when we start talking about alternate spreads, alternate totals like this, like with this Diamondbacks, I'm not going to bet the full $160. I believe I bet 125. So I put 125 on this. So I'm still getting plays with an edge, and I'm still putting a decent amount of cash on them. I'm just kind of taking a little off the top. So this is my new strategy, guys. I'm going to be posting each day a recap so that you guys can kind of follow along. I'm going to be making a video going deeper in depth to the Kelly criterion. It's a real math type of video. So I understand it might not be the sexiest, but if you are interested in trying to really get into the nuts and the bolts of OddsJam and how the tools work, this is how, right? So the last thing I'll mention, I didn't, I took off recommended filters. I changed my percentage to 1%, right? And then I changed my market width to 40, right? Because market width's all about sports books confidence. And really outside of 40, that's where you start to see even some longer shot plays. So everything under 40. Other than that, I didn't touch anything else. And I just saved the filter to have it here for myself. So that's what you can do. This is what I'm going to be doing, guys. I'm going to be doing this throughout the whole month of June. And I maybe have stumbled across the next best thing, right? Or I might be going back to my old strategy in July. But either way, I want to practice what I preach. And I would be a fraud if I sat here and told you this is what you need to do, and then if I don't actually do it myself. So I'm doing this because of curiosity. I want to continue to evolve and learn as a sports bettor. And I also want to put my money where my mouth is and tell you guys, if this is what I'm doing, it's because I'm actually doing it. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter, slide in my DMs, whether questions at all, sports betting strategies, because I think the hardest part is using these tools. It's not understanding that the plays have an edge. It's understanding, okay, like how much do I bet? What, the money management side of it is really difficult. And that's where I'm trying to kind of bridge the gap a little bit and help out. So I really appreciate you guys. I hope you have an awesome Friday, and we'll catch you in the next video.